Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. Tonight, reaction from Montana farmers and lawmakers after President Trump publicly dissed the importance of wheat exports to Japan.
This week during a speech in Pennsylvania, the president minimized the value of U.S. wheat exports to Japan, when in fact those exports brought in nearly $700 million to U.S. farmers last year.
Now, the president's comments surprised and frustrated the nation's wheat producers.
Especially here in Montana, where Japan is the state's #1 market. The Montana Ag Network's Lane Nordland has more.
We send thousands and thousands, millions of cars. We send them wheat. That's not a good deal. And they don't even want our wheat. They do it because they want us to at least feel that we're okay. You know, they do it to make us feel good.
The president made a completely inaccurate comment about the United States wheat industry and commenting also on the largest revenue market for the U.S. wheat industry, and that being Japan.
U.S. wheat producers spend millions of dollars building export markets around the globe, and especially in Asia. The wheat industry fears the president's comments could weaken those relationships. U.S. Senators John Tester and Steve Daines both responded by saying they understand that Japan is not only Montana's #1 export market for wheat, but for the nation. Daines is urging the administration to finalize trade negotiations with Japan as well. The National Association of Wheat Growers also weighed in on the current trade climate and farm economy.
The rhetoric, just because it comes out of the administration that farmers are doing great, is not true. And the fact that we continue to lose market share, which continues to drive our domestic prices down, we haven't sold any wheat to China in 2 years. We're going to start selling less wheat to Japan, even though it's the highest quality. And we're not in TPP, and we're still trying to pass USMCA. And to turn around and say that these market facilitation payments have made our farmers whole is just simply not true. And then to turn around and to say such a horrible comment that Japan doesn't even want to buy our wheat, they just do it to make us feel okay. It just really rips the rug out from underneath the hard work that our U.S. farmers put into producing such a high-quality product.
Reporting, Lane Nordland, MTN News.
Well, Lane tells us the wheat growers will meet with U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer so he can share their frustrations directly with the president.
They're also asking the administration to strike a new trade deal with Japan and are urging Congress to ratify the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement immediately.
Well, the hailstorm that happened Sunday, but those after effects continue to be felt. Body shops and insurance companies have been busy ever since.
Trackside Auto Body Repair in Billings has seen a lot of customers come in with hail damage. Now, that has led insurance companies to classify this as a catastrophe. As a result, they have brought in more people to help body shops deal with claims.
Now, the advice is to find a shop that guarantees its work and uses the right techniques to keep the paint from cracking.
All it takes is a little, when they go to push these dents out, if that paint cracks at all, what'll happen is in a year or maybe even less, moisture will get in those cracks, and then all of a sudden you have rust and corrosion coming in there, and your paint is going to start to pop off.
Well, Kevin Van Larhoven says there are many reputable repair shops in Billings.
And he says damage from this storm could keep those shops busy for the next year.
One woman who writes a lot of the stories we tell you about here on Q2 almost became the news during Sunday's storm.
The hail got bigger and the sounds got louder, and then it crashed through my back passenger window.
These are some of the injuries that Q2 News producer Kat Hill suffered after being caught in that hailstorm Sunday. She'd been heading back toward Billings after riding horses near Molt when the hail began pounding her car, forcing her off the road. She said the storm was so severe she thought she might not survive.
I remember calling when I was on the phone with 911 and I got hit with another piece of large hail, and I said, I'm not going to survive this. I'm going to die. I need you to tell my parents where to find my body.
Well, Kat had to be taken to the hospital by ambulance, but fortunately was not seriously hurt. The trooper who responded told her that some of the hail was the size of a small grapefruit.
Major hailstorms don't just deliver damage, they also bring out-of-state storm chasers, frauds who promise to fix your property, but instead take off with your money and run. State Auditor Matt Rosendale sending this warning. He says take photos and thoroughly document all damage before beginning cleanup or repairs. Then contact your insurance company and get the claims process started. Rosendale says make sure you understand your deductible and what is and isn't covered. Also, don't sign an agreement with a contractor until you talk to your insurance agent, and always verify that the contractor you're talking with is registered to do business here in Montana. So a little extra work on the front side can save a lot of hassle in the end.
An expected decision by the State Department of Environmental Quality will help extend the future of mining in Butte.
As MTN's John Amy reports, it all has to do with storing waste.
The Montana Department of Environmental Quality is expected to approve Montana Resources' request to expand the impoundment area where it stores mine waste. This is an important development for the future of the Butte mine.
Without the permit amendment, we would be out at tailing storage capacity in about 2021. And then without tailing storage capacity, we can't mine.
Montana Resources needs the permit to extend the Yankee Doodle tailings impoundment located northeast of Butte. The DEQ considered the environmental impact of the extension and determined it meets the state standards, which are strict.
It's the highest, most rigorous standard in the United States for operation of tailings impoundment. And basically what DEQ has found is that we're meeting all that. And we're not only meeting that, we're exceeding that.
Montana Resources actually started planning for this impoundment expansion back in 2012 and then filed for the permit in 2017.
I think everybody here at the mine really appreciates DEQ's efforts on getting this done and getting this done in a timely manner.
This action will keep mining operations going in Butte at least until 2031. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
And John tells us it will be another 2 weeks before the DEQ can officially approve the permit to allow time for any objections.
Well, there's more news from across our state on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news. For you hunters, Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks takes a look at the effects of pine beetles on elk in one of the state's most popular hunting districts. We'll show you the findings tonight at 9 on the CW.
But first, on tonight's 5:30 news, we are live from the Montana Fair to get you set for tonight's rodeo action, but not exactly with the Cowboys. Rob Griggs has some tricks up his sleeve. We're going to check in with him.
And in sports, Scott shows us the energy new Rocky coach Chris Stutzriem brings to the football field with the team's opener 2 weeks from tonight.
And coming up in the weather, we do see some more showers and thunderstorms out in western Montana. Now the big question is, will they be coming into the Billings area? It looks like tonight they may be going just to the south. We'll talk about it coming up after this.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.